Welcome back. Yeah. Tourists is still in Chicago as teen mass shooting breaks out after Christmas tree lighting 4 hours ago ceremony. So let's get into it, shall we?
Fire aboard a train. Meanwhile, there are growing questions about why he was back out on the streets despite a rap sheet reportedly going back to the early 90s. Mike Tobin is live in the Windy City with more. Hi, Mike.
And Dana, Lawrence Reed will be once again before the judge today, this time to determine if he will be held behind bars before
He'll get
he
out
goes
again.
to trial. And that really is the backbone of this case. On Monday, he was out walking the streets despite a pending case for allegedly knocking a woman out, able to ride the L train where a woman was set on fire. Now, we have a statement from her family through Cook County Health. It's a pretty simple statement. They say, "We'd like to thank everyone for their prayers and well wishes as our daughter receives care for her injuries sustained earlier this week. We're also grateful for the excellent care and support of the burn team at Stroger Hospital." It goes on to the family to say the family will not be providing any more updates. Now, the criminal complaint against Reed says he went to a gas station, filled a plastic bottle with gasoline. The images get brutal here, so brace yourself. 20 minutes later, he was on the Blue Line train, dumped the gasoline on the woman's head. She ran, but he chased her down with the flaming remnants of the bottle and set her on fire.
What I can say is that as awful and as horrific as this tragedy is, this is an isolated incident.
Not isolated, it's always happening in Chicago.
Public transportation system, we want people to feel safe as they ride, and so many working people rely on our public transportation system across the city, and that's why I'm doing my part to ensure that these investments are getting right to the people, so that, of course, people can continue to enjoy.
So once again, we got to talk about Chicago, a city that is facing a lot of problems. I mean, we've been talking about the budget crisis mostly, but we can't forget that Chicago is a city of chaos, okay? And we got to talk about some chaos today, courtesy of the usual suspects, young scholars, the future lawyers, doctors, astronauts, AI engineers, scientists, right? Nuclear engineers of America, okay? They're back at it again. As you guys saw at the beginning of this video, a woman was burned on fire, set fire on a train, okay? Kind of crazy. Then you got another crazy story that's going viral this week involving a mother who on camera was jumped, beat up by a bunch of young scholars. Now, I can't show the actual video of her being beat up and jumped with her kids, but I can basically show you guys the gist of the story. Take a look.
Trying to get justice for my son. They fought my son, they hit my son first, all in his face. Then they dragged me in the grass and pulled my little baby hair.
We haven't held these kids accountable. We haven't held parents accountable. No mother should be that helpless and be targeted by children inside of her own community.
Only on CBS News Chicago, we are learning a group of kids who attacked a Chicago mother and her 9-year-old son have been terrorizing another family. Our Sade Gray reports that mob was caught on video in both instances.
Carolyn Sanford says the same group of kids who attacked Hatter and her son brutally attacked her adult son this past summer, leaving him unconscious on the ground for half an hour. She says they picked on him because her son has autism and is an easy target. In one of those incidents, a boy in the video slapped her 10-year-old daughter, Brown's younger sister, at Orville T. Bright Elementary School. The same school several parents demonstrated this past week, calling for an end to bullying.
My daughter didn't want to go to school. These kids never want to stay home. That girl wants to stay home more than anybody.
Even at home, the same group of kids broke her window and kicked in her door last May.
And the ringleaders is crazy because they stay above me. I'm do if I don't, I'm damn if I do. I mean, it ain't no winning here.
Both moms say they have brought complaints to the school with no results. Sanford says she's upset because she warned the school about the kids for months, and she says nothing was done.
Why y'all haven't done nothing a long time ago for this? Again, this been going on. This ain't just started here, and it's not gonna end here.
She contacted us after seeing the viral video. We reached out to CPS. We are waiting for a response, and when we get one, we will post it on our website, CBS News Chicago.
Yeah, some wild stories have been coming out of Chicago. You have people being set on fire on trains, public transit. You have young scholars jumping mothers and their kids in broad daylight, being caught on video. Crazy story. Then you have another crazy story out of Chicago, a mass shooting that broke out during Chicago's Christmas tree lighting ceremony.
Look at that. See them hold the gun, huh?
Take a look now. This is actually moments after this happened. You see, look at that. The people responding to the sound of gunshots right there. People scrambling, running, ducking, going down into the subway. That is the east side of State Street, as you can see. And moments later, police officers, dozens of them, coming down south on State Street in front of the Chicago Theater, running towards the sound of those gunshots. This is right, that Walgreens right there, that's where we saw at least one person had been shot. They were on the ground on the sidewalk. Again, that's the moment right there. We've got this on a little bit of a loop. And another person who was shot that we had seen was on the ground in the northbound lanes of State Street, just in front of that Walgreens. So we have obviously very much a breaking situation. This happening about a half an hour ago, 10 minutes to the top of the hour, just before our newscast, and we were preparing to go on air, obviously, with all the pomp and circumstance of the Holiday Lights Festival, all of it starting up, lighting up the tree downtown at Millennium Park. And so, as you can imagine, downtown is extremely crowded tonight, with people coming down to celebrate, and then the sound of these gunshots going off. Unmistakable. I was actually up here in the third floor newsroom, and Rob, you and I actually were talking just before you were going down to the studio, and we both heard it, and it was unmistakable.
So I want you guys to understand, you had a bunch of law-abiding citizens, regular normal folks, go to downtown Chicago to participate in the Christmas tree lighting ceremony, and a mass shooting broke out because the agents of chaos, the young scholars, were there, right? We're in downtown, and when you have a bunch of young teenagers of color, right, gathered in a place, chaos breaks out. And that's exactly what happened during this mass shooting. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this.
I'm going to start right now with breaking news. We've been following this all night. 2 shootings just hours after the Christmas tree lighting, steps away as well from the Christkindl Market right here downtown. One of those mass shootings leaving 7 teenagers in the hospital. Just blocks away from that, a man died. Let's get right to our Saul Rizai at State and Randolph for the very latest on the investigations.
Yeah, Suzanne, one of those shootings happened just steps away from the Chicago Theater here. The scene has been cleared here this morning, but we know new details from Chicago police this morning tell us 7 people were shot here near the Chicago Theater. A separate scene near Adams and Dearborn had 2 other people that were shot. The person at that scene, we learned, has died. Witnesses tell us the victims seemed all to be very young, in their teenage years. Police confirming this morning the youngest victim is only 13 years old. Suzanne, you mentioned these shootings happened just steps away from multiple big holiday attractions happening here in the Loop. We'll get to that video. Chicago police saying they saw a large group of people on the sidewalk. You'll see this scene video as aftermath. Dozens of Chicago police officers and first responders on the scenes here downtown. The victims between 13 and 17 years old. In total, 7 people shot here at State and Randolph, all said to be in good condition, thankfully. 1 person in fair condition. 2 more people shot, as I mentioned, at Adams and Dearborn at a different scene. The injuries of those victims are more serious. Police confirming this morning they found 2 other people shot at Adams and Dearborn. 1 man had gunshot wounds throughout his body and was pronounced dead at the hospital. The second victim, an 18-year-old man, was shot in the leg and is in serious condition at last check. Many people we talked to were here visiting from out of town, and they said they were sad to see this happen, especially during the holidays.
It's very disheartening to see this. You know, right. Holiday time, everybody wants to celebrate and enjoy the evening, and something like this happens.
Now, why in the world would you go to Chicago as a tourist at this point? Let's keep it 100. Chicago is the last place that I want to go as a tourist. I still haven't been. I still haven't visited Chicago. One day I want to visit Chicago. But I can't visit Chicago knowing that if I go downtown, right, which I guess that's the place you want to be, if you go towards Chicago, right, that there's a possibility that agents of chaos are going to be out and about, and that mass shootings like this could break out at any time. You're talking about a Christmas tree lighting ceremony. A ceremony that should be 100% peaceful. You shouldn't have to worry about being shot and killed while bringing in the Christmas holiday season. But unfortunately, in cities like Chicago, that is something you have to worry about. If you are a tourist, you have to worry about possibly being mugged, robbed, shot, killed for simply visiting what used to be one of the best cities in America. This is all because of progressive leadership. Soft on crime policies. These are the same people who boo-hoo whine and crying. Oh, we don't want the National Guard. We don't have a crime problem. Right? This is what the woke mayor said. Don't demonize them. But yet, you got stories like this. And again, this is normal stuff. This is not a one-off. We've covered hundreds of these stories. That's not an exaggeration. Hundreds of these stories over the years. Over the years. It's the same thing, and it doesn't get better. But it's now become normalized. And it should not be normal. This should not be it should not be normal to have stories about people being set on fire on public transit. It should not be normal to have stories about teenagers, young kids jumping mothers and their children. Right? We shouldn't have stories like that. That shouldn't be normal. It should be normal to have stories about mass shootings happening in a place like downtown Chicago.